Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always. What are we exploring today?
Today, we're heading back in time, all the way to ancient Egypt.
Ooh, the
You
pyramids.
got it, the Great Pyramids of Giza. We'll be digging into their construction, their purpose, and who knows, maybe uncover a few secrets along the way.
Sounds fascinating. Where are we getting our info from?
Our source material for this deep dive is a fascinating episode of the Hidden Wonders podcast.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Well, get this to kick things off. The Great Pyramid, that massive one, is the tallest man-made structure on Earth for over 3,800 years.
Seriously, 3,800 years? That's longer than some civilizations have even existed?
Exactly. So it really sets the stage for just how incredible this achievement was.
Yeah, it speaks volumes about their ambition and skill, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So let's start with the basics. Hidden Wonders tells us that these pyramids were built during the 4th dynasty, roughly around 2500 BCE.
Okay, so we're talking Old Kingdom Egypt, right? The classic pyramid era.
Right on. And the pharaoh behind this massive project was Khufu, sometimes called Cheops.
Khufu, all right. And what about the scale of this whole thing? Just how big are we talking?
Well, hold on to your hats, because the Great Pyramid alone is the largest stone structure ever built, at least as far as we know. It originally stood a towering 481 feet high.
Wow, that's taller than I don't even know. And it covered a huge area too, right?
Yeah, over 13 acres. To put that in perspective, think of several football fields.
Okay, now that's a lot of real estate.
Right.
And Hidden Wonders mentioned something about the number of blocks, right?
They said over 2.3 million limestone blocks were used, and each one of those blocks weighed, on average, 2.5 tons.
2.5 tons. How on earth did they even move those things?
That's a million-dollar question, literally.
So, any theories?
Well, the most accepted theory is the ramp system. Imagine huge teams of workers dragging these massive stones up these giant ramps, maybe using rollers and sleds to make it a bit easier.
Okay, I can sort of picture that, but what kind of ramps are we talking? Straight ones?
That's still debated, actually. Some say straight, some say zigzagging, maybe even spiraling. We don't have a definitive answer yet.
Fascinating. And I think I remember Hidden Wonders bringing up another theory, something about counterweights.
Yeah, the counterweight theory.
Right. Tell me more about that.
So this theory suggests they might have used a system of levers, pulleys, maybe even water, to lift and position those giant blocks.
It sounds pretty advanced for their time. Is there any evidence to support that?
That's the tricky part. While we know the Egyptians were incredibly skilled engineers, think of all their other accomplishments. We don't have direct archaeological proof of this system at the pyramid sites.
So it's more of a possibility than a certainty right now.
Exactly. But it's still a fascinating idea to consider, right?
Oh, definitely. It makes you wonder what other clever techniques they might have had up their sleeve.
Absolutely. Oh, and speaking of things we often get wrong, Hidden Wonders clears up a common misconception. They weren't built by slaves.
Really? I always thought it was slave labor.
Nope, not according to the evidence. It seems the workers were actually skilled laborers, paid for their work, operating in organized shifts.
Wow, that changes the picture quite a bit. So more like a massive, well-organized construction project.
That's more like it. And that brings up another huge question. Transportation.
Oh, right. We can't forget about that 500-mile journey for the granite.
Exactly. The limestone they used was local, but that granite, Hidden Wonders tells us, it came from Aswan, which is over 500 miles away.
500 miles? That's like a crazy distance even today.
I know. Can you imagine moving those massive blocks that far back then?
It blows my mind. They must have had some serious logistical knowledge that we've lost to time.
Yeah, maybe they were using the Nile River in ways we don't even fully comprehend.
Facile, of course. It makes you wonder what other secrets are still out there, just waiting to be discovered.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about the how, the logistics, the manpower, but what about the why? What was the purpose behind these colossal structures?
I mean, tombs, right? For the pharaohs.
You're on the right track, but it's a little more complex than that.
Oh, okay, I'm intrigued. Fill me in.
Well, as Hidden Wonders explains, the primary function was to serve as tombs for the pharaohs. But, and this is key, it was about ensuring their safe passage into the afterlife.
The afterlife, right. It was central to their beliefs.
Exactly. And remember, pharaohs weren't just kings. They were seen as divine beings, almost god kings.
I see. So their tombs couldn't just be any old tomb. They had to reflect that divine status.
Exactly. Hence, the grandeur, the sheer scale of the pyramids. It was all about making a statement.
Makes sense. So the Great Pyramid, that was Khufu's final resting place then.
That's the one. And it wasn't just a simple burial chamber. It had intricate passages, chambers filled with treasures, all designed to protect his body and soul for eternity.
Wow, like a whole underground palace fit for a god king.
Exactly. And don't forget, the pyramids weren't isolated structures either. They were part of a much larger complex.
Oh, right, like the Sphinx and those other smaller tombs.
You got it. Hidden Wonders talks about temples, tombs for nobles, the whole 9 yards. They all played a role.
So it was more like a whole city of the dead designed to reflect their beliefs about the afterlife.
Exactly. The entire complex was a reflection of their cosmos, their understanding of the universe, and the journey after death. Both practical and spiritual, all wrapped up in these incredible structures.
Wow, it's pretty amazing when you think about it that way.
And here's another interesting fact from Hidden Wonders. The placement of the pyramids, it wasn't random. They are aligned with the cardinal points, north, south, east, west.
Wait, really? Like perfectly aligned?
With remarkable precision. Even by today's standards, it's pretty incredible.
Wow, they must have had some serious astronomical knowledge to pull that off.
It really does suggest a deep understanding of the stars, doesn't it?
Yeah, it goes beyond just building tombs. It's like they were deliberately connecting these earthly creations with the celestial realm.
Exactly. And that brings us to a whole other level of intrigue. The mysteries surrounding the pyramids.
Oh, the mysteries. You mean like, how did they really move those stones? And what's the deal with all the secret chambers and the hidden passages?
All that and more. But we'll have to save those for the next part of our deep dive. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground already. We talked about the how and the why of the pyramids, their construction and their purpose.
Yeah, the logistics of it all, it's just mind-blowing.
Totally. But remember how Hidden Wonders also delves into some of those lingering mysteries that surround the pyramids? Those unsolved puzzles?
Oh, right, like how they actually moved those massive stones, especially that granite all the way from Aswan.
Exactly. It's still one of the biggest head-scratchers. 500 miles is a huge distance to move such heavy material, even with all our fancy technology today.
It really does make you question what we actually know about ancient Egyptian capabilities, doesn't it?
It's humbling, for sure.
Like, were there techniques, maybe even knowledge that has just been lost to time completely?
It's possible. Hidden Wonders does bring up the possibility that they were using the Nile River in ways we haven't even fully considered.
Yeah, the Nile. It makes sense. Maybe a combination of waterways and some really ingenious tools and a deep understanding of the natural world.
Right. Maybe they were able to achieve what seems impossible to us now.
It's a tantalizing thought, for sure.
Oh, and remember how we talked about the pyramids' alignment with the stars?
Oh, yeah, specifically with Orion, wasn't it?
That's the one. And that's where things get even more interesting, I think.
How so?
Well, Hidden Wonders reminds us that Orion was closely linked to Osiris in Egyptian mythology. Osiris, the god of the afterlife.
Ah, right, Osiris. So that alignment, it wasn't just a coincidence then?
Exactly. It suggests that the placement of the pyramids, it was deliberate. They were connecting the pharaoh's tomb with the celestial realm, symbolizing that journey to the afterlife.
So it's not just about astronomy then, it's about weaving their spiritual beliefs into the very structure of the pyramids.
You got it. Just imagine you're an ancient Egyptian standing there looking up at Orion, and you see a direct link to the pharaoh's eternal journey.
It must have been a powerful experience. Awe-inspiring, even.
Totally. And it also speaks to a completely different worldview than we have today, doesn't it?
Yeah.
One where the celestial and terrestrial realms are completely intertwined.
Yeah, the pyramids become more than just tombs. They become these celestial markers, points of connection between Earth and the cosmos.
It's pretty amazing. And of course, no conversation about the pyramids would be complete without at least mentioning some of those more out there theories.
Oh, you mean like the ones about lost civilizations? Or even aliens?
Yeah, exactly. Hidden Wonders does touch on some of those.
They do capture the imagination, don't they? I mean, I know they aren't really supported by mainstream archaeology.
Right.
But they do highlight just how much the unknown still fascinates us, The pyramids are so monumental, and they seem so beyond the scope of what we think ancient people could do.
I get it. It's almost like we need a more fantastic explanation to bridge that gap between our perceptions and their accomplishments.
Maybe. But even without bringing in lost civilizations or aliens, I think the pyramids remain an incredible testament to human ingenuity, to our ambition.
Absolutely. They make you realize that we're capable of achieving some pretty incredible things when we set our minds to it.
And that brings us to the question of legacy, doesn't it? What do the pyramids tell us about the ancient Egyptians, and how do they continue to impact us even today?
That's a big question. But I think Hidden Wonders makes a good point when they say the pyramids are a symbol of human achievement, period. I mean, think about it. For over 3,800 years, the Great Pyramid was the tallest structure on Earth.
Wow. Just let that sink in for a second.
It's mind-boggling, right? And they didn't have modern tools, cranes, power tools, none of that.
It was human labor, ingenuity, a deep understanding of math and astronomy.
And it really does challenge our perceptions of what ancient civilizations were capable of.
Humbling is a good word for it. And it's not just the physical structures themselves, right? The pyramids represent knowledge, beliefs, the aspirations of an entire civilization.
It's like a window into a world that existed thousands of years ago. And they still inspire awe and wonder in people from all over the globe, even today.
They're a tangible link to our past, reminding us of what our ancestors accomplished. And they also remind us of the enduring power of human creativity.
And as we continue to study them, learn from them, who knows what other secrets they might reveal, what other pieces of the puzzle might fall into place.
That's the exciting part, isn't it? There's always more to learn.
Wow, so we've really journeyed through time, haven't we? Explored these incredible feats of engineering, pondered the mysteries and beliefs of the ancient Egyptians.
It's been quite a deep dive.
It really has.
Yeah.
But as we start to wrap things up, what would you say is that one key takeaway, that one thing we want our listeners to remember about the Great Pyramids?
You know, I think the most powerful message they convey is that we should never, ever underestimate the power of human ingenuity and determination, too.
I agree.
These structures, they're a testament to what we can achieve, you know, when we really set our minds to something truly monumental, even when we have, well, limited technology.
Because really, sometimes those limitations are more in our minds than in what we're actually capable of, right?
Right. I mean, the ancient Egyptians, they didn't have modern tools, no cranes, no power tools, nothing like that.
And yet they created these wonders.
Exactly. They had vision, they had knowledge, and they had the will to create something extraordinary.
It's inspiring, really.
Think about the level of planning involved, the organization required to quarry, transport, and position millions of massive stones.
Millions.
It's incredible. It suggests a level of societal cohesion, of shared purpose that's honestly pretty remarkable, even by today's standards.
Definitely. And it's not just about the physical construction either, right? The pyramids, they embody the ancient Egyptians' whole understanding of the cosmos, their beliefs about the afterlife, their entire worldview.
Yeah, they weren't just tombs. They were expressions of their culture, their spirituality, their place in the universe.
It makes you realize just how much thought and meaning went into every aspect of their creation.
It's humbling, really, to think about the depth of knowledge and skill embedded in these structures.
It makes you wonder, what else might we learn from them? What other secrets are they still holding?
Oh, definitely. Speaking of secrets, Hidden Wonders did hint at a pretty interesting one. We talked about the pyramid's precise alignment with the cardinal points.
Right, north, south, east, west.
But the episode also suggested that there might be an alignment with Orion.
A constellation.
Yeah, and that raises some fascinating questions, doesn't it? I mean, remember, Orion was associated with Osiris, the god of the afterlife.
Right.
So if the ancient Egyptians deliberately aligned these massive structures with specific stars, what other astronomical knowledge might they have had? What other secrets are hidden in plain sight?
It's like a giant puzzle just waiting to be solved.
Exactly. And I think that's the beauty of these ancient wonders. They invite us to keep questioning, to keep exploring, to keep searching for answers. They remind us that there's always more to learn about the past and about ourselves.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought. The next time you look up at the night sky, think about the ancient Egyptians. They were looking at those same stars thousands of years ago. What did they see? What stories did those constellations tell them?
And what other secrets might those stars hold just waiting to be unlocked?
It's a beautiful thought. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this journey to ancient Egypt. It's been an incredible adventure.
My pleasure. Always love a good deep dive into history.
Me too. Until next time, keep exploring, keep wondering, and keep looking up at the stars.